dudes that enjoy stealing all of your hard work to these green glitches that revoke your license to live in the blink of an eye. However, out of all these mobs this game has to offer, there's one who's bigger, better, and Squidwardier, which is totally a word, and I'm talking about the Minecraft Villager. And today, I'll be surviving in a hardcore Minecraft world where they outnumber me 286 to 1. But first, I know you're probably tired of seeing the typical graph that YouTubers show you and asking you to subscribe, and that's why instead I'm only asking you one simple question. If you do go on to enjoy the video, then why not subscribe? I really appreciate every one of you who is willing to join me for this journey, and I would love to have you here. Also, please don't forget to leave a like. If we do get to 30,000, I will release another 100 days movie. Anyways, today I survived for 100 days in a hardcore village-only world. So here I was on the first day, freshly spawned in on a beach with a savanna nearby, and this world was literally heaven to me. There were villagers as far as the eye could see. All of the opportunity and capitalism were flowing through my mind in a rush of euphoria. So the first thing I did was make my way over to the first village's supply of wheat, and being the good Samaritan I was, I began robbing them of it. Shortly after stealing enough of their food, since it was now everywhere, I figured, why not begin with some capitalism to kickstart my emerald empire? I traded all of my wheat to this good sir for 12 emeralds, and after that, I began breaking down his neighbor's house for some easy wood so I could make tools. I placed down a crafting bench, made a pickaxe to get stone, and boom, this creeper kamikazed me out of nowhere and snapped back to reality. Wow, here I was in a fresh world full of villages. I definitely didn't just die, and I was ready to begin my new journey. But not before telling you about today's quick sponsor, Apex Gaming PCs. Because of all your continued support for my content, I was able to partner with Apex to bring you. If you're interested in checking out my page, so I made myself an axe and a pickaxe, and I began scouting out the place for things to borrow. I broke into this first house to acquire some of their cobble legally, and while here, I took this man's beautiful blue bed. Yeah, I just said that. It's a couple of minutes in, and I'm already making bad puns. Bad puns aside, after taking the bed, I spotted this amazing opportunity. There were 2 armor stands nearby with an iron helmet and iron chest piece that I quickly yoinked, and I equipped both of them. Plus, I also got this crazy blast furnace on sale for the huge price of free. I found this house with a beautiful Pain Domination Edition bed that I took, and I kept running into chest after chest after chest with free wood, food, and even emeralds. However, a spruce village, as nice as they can be, was not where I wanted to be, because there were no blacksmiths or wheat. So I began venturing myself away into the nearby plains biome, where I made a new stone hoe, and I began harvesting as much wheat as I could find to begin my selling operations. And just like that, after trading with my first villager, I was already up to 18 emeralds. This world was going to be GGEZ. So after trading with that villager, I spent a lot of this day just collecting more wheat until I found my very first blacksmith. And inside the chest was absolute fire. I found almost enough obsidian to go to the nether already, a bunch of gold and iron, and a pair of iron pants. In only the first day, I was already living large like Larry. By the time the sun began to set, I was almost up to 2 stacks of hay bales along with all of my other loot. As it became nighttime, I broke into this house and I slept in some stranger's bed waiting for the sun to come up the next day. Day number 2. First thing I did today after leaving the house was notice the second blacksmith directly in front of the place that I stayed. And the game was playing with my heart now, because upon walking inside, the chest was gone. There was just no chest. It was replaced by the house next door's roof. So with a sad shuffle, I left, and to my surprise, there was yet another second blacksmith right behind it. I broke inside, and in this chest, I had found a nice iron sword and some pants. After borrowing those, I set off to continue my capitalistic rampage. I kept stealing any and all of the hay bales that I came across, while also trading with all of the farmers for some more dank emeralds. At this rate, I was going to get some buff diamond armor and tools in absolutely no time. I continued exploring until I came across blacksmith number 4, and inside the chest was more iron, gold, and 2 iron pickaxes. I left behind my old pickaxes in the chest, and I kept moving on back towards another spruce forest while collecting more of the nearby wheat. I kept up my mission to obtain that grain until my hoe broke. And that's when I decided, why not an upgrade? So I used the iron from the chest to make boots, the last piece of armor I needed, and my brand new iron hoe. And I know what you're you're thinking, why not kill iron golems? Well, for this world, I'm sticking away from that for now because villager trades are important in this entire world is villages. Not to mention the weird terrain, which would make it even harder to hide from them. They would probably yeet me into oblivion, and I'm not trying to die a second time after day 2. For the beginning of day 3, I continued breaking things as I moved further from world spawn. I kept stealing stuff from chests until I had almost a stack of bread without crafting any of it. I also kept taking any hay bales I saw because I have addiction, I need help. In fact, my iron hoe was already half broken at this point, and I've only had the thing for literal minutes. I kept on moving until I found back-to-back blacksmiths. The first one mostly had iron gear that I didn't need, only because my inventory was full. Trust me, if I could have stuffed it in there, I would have. And the second one, the same thing. Like I said, I would love to have taken these, being the hoarder that I am, but actually making a base for my loot in this world was going to be difficult because there's buildings everywhere. And to be honest, my house would probably not stand out, and it would be hard to find my way back home. Anyways, though, shortly after checking the blacksmiths, I ran into this horse that gave me a great idea. Since I had already found several saddles, I began taming this dude, and he was truly the Adonis of horses. He had so much health, and he was Sonic fast. After taming him, I put on the saddle and we took off, and while stopping here and there for more hay bales, I thought of the perfect name for him. Based off of the new Pokemon for the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games, I was going to call this guy Lechonk. I spent the rest of this day exploring more terrain with Lechonk, and just getting to know him, while also stopping at 2 more blacksmiths where I found my first 3 Diamondes inside of this world. And once the sun began to set, I found a nice home for me and Lechonk to sleep the night away. Overall, day 3 had been a massive success. I started off day 4 by leaving Lechonk in the house for a bit while checking the next door blacksmith, and there was 3 iron helmets. Very cool, Kanye. After this, I grabbed Lechonk and we set back off in the hopes of maybe finding a new biome. I was hoping to find a place like a lake or an ocean, so that way I could use the extra space without all the houses to build my base in a place where I could actually find it. However, while heading through the increasingly difficult to navigate village-scape I had found myself in, something began to feel a bit off. There weren't as many villagers as there used to be. There weren't many other passive mobs like cows or horses. I mean, I did find one farmer, but he didn't want any of my decadent hay, so I spit on him and I left. After spitting on that farmer that definitely deserved it, I continued on my journey while making a few stops here and there. I stole a fletching table, I stopped to trade with this new farmer that I found, and while at it, I stole the composters so I could make my own farmers in the future, as if they were hard to make in the first place. Anyways, I spent the rest of this day trading with more farmers along with looting anything I found, until finally, as night was approaching, I had found a new biome. And it just so happens to be a gross, icky swamp, which I know what you're thinking, swamps are great now. Well, this was not 1.19, so swamps were not great. But I was just happy to know that I still wasn't running in circles. Before going to bed for the night, I checked this new blacksmith nearby that almost had an entire set of iron armor, which is kind of wild, if it were useful. After that, I slept out under the stars with my new horse friend. For day 5, after waking up, I was immediately back at gathering more wheat. Honestly, not gathering it was going to take every ounce of my being at this point. After gathering the hay, I noticed a new blacksmith in the distance, away from the swamp, that I, of course, couldn't resist. There wasn't much inside of the chest, but upon leaving, I noticed another one all the way in the distance in a direction that I haven't gone yet. I made my way all the way over there, and this place also ended up having ding nothing. I swear, at this point, the few villages in my old super flat world had way more diamonds than this infinite village world. But no matter that, I now found myself in another new biome surrounded by dark oak trees, wherever the villages weren't at, that is. In fact, this place had now become like an entirely new biome, because there were so few trees spread out in between all of the different houses. While here, I continued finding more villagers to milk for emeralds, till I found myself being the proud owner of almost 2 stacks. I kept heading through this biome until I found myself in the new area that now had sand villages. It turns out this area was a beach, and I had finally found an ocean. The perfect place to build myself a base that could actually stand out from all of the, the villages. Plus, this place had access to a ton of different biomes with their resources and different villager types. While here, before actually choosing a spot to maybe set up my base, I found back-to-back-to-back blacksmiths. The first 2